It's April 30th, 2010, and over the years I've thought a lot about making a video where I put it on the record that I will never commit suicide, I will never carry out offensive acts of violence against anyone. I believe in nonviolent resistance. I believe in civil disobedience. I believe in information warfare, using the truth to expose the growing tyranny in our country and worldwide. But it's gotten to the point where I have to make this video, and I may make a series of videos because this information is so important. And that is the fact that for decades, very quietly, the Marines, the Army, the military police of the other branches of the armed services have been training for gun confiscation in the United States and have been training to go after the American people. And now it's in the New York Times that they're training Boy Scout explorers to, quote, take on disgruntled veterans in gun confiscation operations. And last year I interviewed a colonel. It was in the newspaper, so we called him up in Iowa, where they were doing a gun confiscation drill in the town. And I've received Homeland Security videos from law enforcement where they're demonizing the American people and saying the general public are terrorists. We received the MIAC and Homeland Security reports last year that were leaked to us by law enforcement that became a big national story for several months, where they listed Tea Parties and people that want to protest the Federal Reserve as potential terrorists. And it also demonized Ron Paul, Bob Barr, conservatives, returning veterans. We got another one last year where the In the Fed rallies were being surveilled by regular U.S. Army, which is illegal. And a few weeks ago, the head of the FBI, the director, came out and said, well, we're not just worried about Al-Qaeda now, we're just as worried, or even more worried, about domestic groups. And those domestic groups are old ladies and old men and middle class, Americans who are tired of the overtaxation and regulation coming out of Washington and don't like the banker bailouts and the trillions of dollars that have been stolen. And now we have all the Goldman Sachs emails that confirm it was all premeditated. And in these new documents that just came out in the last few days from exercises from April 23rd through April 26th to the 29th, it says local militia groups, anti-government protesters, Tea Party, and they're having mock shootout drills with Tea Parties and, quote, militias, and they tie them into white supremacist groups. They talk about taking them to detention centers. They talk about how they're anti-government. The people are the government. I mean, it's our right to criticize government policies. I mean, we vote in this nation. We have a right to stand up and have free speech. And we know where this leads. They are preparing the military to engage in military operations against the American people. Separately from all this new information that's coming out, I have confirmed from more than 20 sources, many of them personally known to me, and I've gotten the training manuals and the ADL and Southern Poverty Law Center training manuals that are being given to law enforcement in the military, where they specifically list Alex Jones, yours truly, as basically the ace of spades in a card deck of American terrorists. And so I just want to say on record here, I am never going to kill anybody in cold blood. I mean, I will defend myself. I have never called for offensive military actions. We're going to win this thing through the info war using our secret weapon, the truth. And we're going to stand up on the Bill of Rights and Constitution. We're going to call for military and police to follow their oath of office. Criminal elements in the government are preparing to stage terror attacks to blame them on the American people. And we have an article up on prisonplanet.com, U.S. Army trains to confront Tea Party terrorists, that has these training exercise documents posted on it. And the number one enemy is veterans, gun-owning veterans, just like the MIAC and Homeland Security reports over a year ago said. And they are just training giant numbers of military forces. In fact, they're training all military forces, even people in maintenance, even people in repair who would not normally be involved in this, to take on the American people. Almost all of the scenarios now don't deal with fighting Al-Qaeda or Muslim extremists. It's all about fighting Tea Parties and gun owners and conservatives. And it's in mainstream newspapers. They're having gun confiscation drills in Iowa and places like Tennessee, and running illegal checkpoints, and have Marine Corps checkpoints in California searching citizens. They are truly acclimating the public for a martial law takeover. And they're never going to get on the news and announce martial law. You think they announce martial law in North Korea? You think they announce martial law in Mexico? No, they're just under it. And so I want to talk about the situation we're facing. And I also want to set the record straight because they're clearly setting me up and demonizing me. And it's illegal to have the military involved domestically against citizens. I mean, that's on record. Countless federal laws, not just posse comitatus. It's illegal to have the military spying on citizens, but it's even worse to have them lying and teaching the forces that I'm calling for their deaths and I'm calling for killing them, when anyone who knows my radio show or my films knows that that's actually the opposite of what I'm calling for. So these are very, very dark times, and I just want to say I'll never commit suicide, and I'm not calling for violence against the military. But I'm also pointing out that you can see how this has been set up. You can see the conditioning on the news. They keep saying the Tea Party is going to blow up federal buildings. When that happens, it will be the Pentagon and allied mercenary groups, just like the Alfred P. Murrah building in 1995. It happened to Rome 2,000 years ago with Julius Caesar when he marched his troops into the country and took it over. It happened in Germany, it happened in Russia, it happens in the Third World, and it's happening here today. It can happen here. It is happening here. Our military and our police are being prepared for war with the American people. It's on record. This is high treason. And those of you that go along with this are engaged in criminal activity. We're at a crossroads. You have a decision to make. You need to choose sides and decide if you stand with the Republic and our founding fathers and all of our great veterans that defended liberty in the past, or whether you stand with the corporate takeover known as the New World Order. I want to reach out to the military and police. I want to beg you to really think about the training you've been given, how you've been incrementally brainwashed, how it slowly gets worse and worse until now almost all of your training is to engage the American people. See how they sold you and how it was for Al-Qaeda and foreign interest, and then now they say it's for the American people, and they say it's for veterans and gun owners and Tea Party people. Everyone out there, those that have been brainwashed in the system, but also even the mercenaries who consciously know what they're doing, I want you to know, whatever you do to me, I forgive you. Because I understand that we're all part of this species together, and I don't even care about my own life. I care about humanity getting control of its destiny and going in the right direction of honor and duty and everything that's decent. And it's such an empowering, good feeling that I passed the point of no return a long time ago in my work. And I don't have any fear of death or imprisonment or my name being destroyed. I don't have any fear. The only fear I have is that I don't do a good enough job and that I don't speak out now while I still have time. I want all of you out there who serve this evil system to wake up, and I want you to taste and breathe and feel the things I felt and to go to an even greater level of animating liberty and freedom. I want you to experience what it's truly like to commit to this species and to truly understand what human beings are and to stand up as real warriors for humanity. Because it takes more courage to stand up against peer pressure and propaganda than it does to charge a machine gun nest. The choice is up to you. You stand at that crossroads. The destiny of this society, of this country, of humanity is in your hands. Every one of you out there watching today needs to ask yourselves, why is Alex Jones being demonized? It's because I have the truth. I found it from living. I found it from studying the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. I found it from studying our founding fathers. I found it through studying history. I found it through studying the elite and what they've done. I know who the enemy of humanity is, and I know the truth, and that's more valuable than all the wealth in this world. So I beg you to make the right decision right now. I beg you to do the research and to make the choice. Who do you stand with? The Republic and our founding fathers and our great history? Or do you stand with these globalist bankers using high-tech psych warfare to control our population?